are the possibilities of people? The answer lies within us all. It's an innate ability that, for most of us, we are only sometimes aware of. But if we were to simply raise our awareness of this great ability that we all possess and acted on it more often, we literally could carefully and creatively design an even better world simply through one opportunity at a time. See, to me, we all have the ability to ignite the excitement, to create these sparks of hope and inspiration in people where we are able to promote them to the places where they can realize their potential. Isn't this something that you, as the thought leaders of our society, would care to do more often? Today, I share the story of how I raised my own awareness of this ability over the years with the hope that you may expedite your process and move quicker to action. As we know, all great stories involve great characters. Mine so happens to involve a Southern preacher, a fraternity director, a Catholic nun, and then there's me. And the setting is my hometown of Memphis, Tennessee. According to research, I should not be standing here because I was born here. Dixie Homes, one of the first two projects designed here in the city of Memphis, this one was made for African Americans. 42% of children born into poverty, like me, 42% will actually sustain that status as adults. This means they cannot, will not, may not have the access to live what we all know of as the American dream. You know, it's that mantra, that ethos that we all aspire to say we have the right to climb the economic social mobility ladder and move closer and closer to our idea of success with few to minimal barriers. But the fact of the matter is that only 23% of those individuals actually make the great leap and move closer and closer to making that dream a reality. I am blessed and fortunate enough to stand here today to say that I am one of the 23%. But the question remains, thank you. The question still remains, what is it? What is it that literally changes a person's existence, where limitations are not seen as boundaries, but as goals to overcome? I believe that this phenomenal power lies in me, it lies in you, it lies in the sparks that people can create. People such as Sister Mary Michael, a Dominican nun who took a boy, me, and kept me closer and closer to the church and, more importantly, off the streets, while my mother, who worked 16-hour days, 6 days a week in a single-parent household, was trying to make sure that she provided for her family. Sister Michael sparked the idea in me of intentional relationships. Then there is DARYL Anderson Sr., who's the former executive director and collegiate advisor of my fraternity. In the absence of my own dad, DARYL served and provided unwavering compassion and guidance. He sparked the idea for me to be resilient. And then there's Dr. ROSALYN NICHOLS, who took 13 and 14-year-olds, taught them about their cultural heritage, so much so that we became official tour guides of the National Civil Rights Museum. Dr. Nichols sparked the idea in me to be confident in all things I do. But in the midst of all of this, we still seem to be plagued in this lethargic momentum of failing to reach out and help people in need. And the fact of the matter is that we are all in need, some of us more than others. And in a world where we are able to form connections more easily than ever before, why is it that we continue to fail so miserably? I believe it's because we do not realize our ability and our responsibility to help others do the things we know they were meant to do. As I came to a close of my undergraduate years here at the University of Memphis, I started to reflect on all of these moments and these great moments that I probably did not want to leave behind or let go of. But then I was immediately jolted by the idea of me failing my engineering senior thesis the first time, and I thought to myself, if my life continued to be full of failures such as this, wouldn't it suck? So I shifted my thinking and tried to think about more favorable moments. And it was the time that I was a section leader in the band, and I was not guiding people through music, but through this process called growing up as young adults. Or the time when I used up 90% of my charge card availability to buy my friend a coat because he walked around campus every day only with long sleeve shirts on in 30-degree weather. Or it was the time when people would come and say, hey, I remember you from freshman year. You helped me to do this or that, and I've helped my friend, and I just wanted to come and tell you thanks. It was at those moments, folks, that I realized that I created a spark in the lives of some people. And that spark for many people turned into huge flames, and those individuals went out to light up the world, and they were loving it. But it was also at those moments that I could hear the voices of DARYL and ROSALYN and Sister Michael to say, Mario, you have the ability, but you also have the responsibility. So I went forth and dedicated my life to understanding how adults and students learn, and more importantly, how to influence them to action. And so I say this, you, our influential thought leaders of society, you have some work to do. See, you must be encouraged and not doubtful about your own ability to elevate us all, also responsibility, to elevate all of us from this lethargic momentum that we are currently experiencing to expanding the landscape of connection and also thought. If you remember the words of previous speaker, Dr. Brene Brown, she has already reminded us that we are enough as we are today to do the things that we were meant to do. And one of them is to be the spark in the lives of others. Now, at times you might become doubtful. So what should you do? Well, the first step is to recognize what is your greatest fear, because then and only then will you really know what might get in the way of you being successful at this task. See, for me, fear must be the fulcrum that we use to move from inaction to action. And then we can sustain that momentum by realizing that it's really just the small steps that will count towards greater progress. Now, if you're anything like me, you may start to ask yourself, okay, so what's the reward? What's in it for me? I can show you better than I can tell you. The following screen will show you the multitude of sparks in my life, either that I've created or ones that have been sparks for me. And so as we look at these pictures, I am constantly reminded of what has happened, over time. And to be honest, at the end of the day, what matters to me the most is that every relationship was genuine. Every one of them was intentional. And at the end of the day, what really matters is that success for them was always my main motivation. As a matter of fact, to see many of these pictures and where these folks are today gives me a great sense of pride, even at this very moment. Ladies and gentlemen, dreamers and thinkers, today is the day where you accept the challenge to be the spark in the lives of others. And you can do that very often and easily by following 3 simple steps. Number 1, follow and encourage the heart. Understand your passion, understand your fears, and use that to drive meaningful experiences for everyone else. Don't try to be anybody else. They're all taken up. Be yourself. 2, role model the way. The folks who created sparks in my life, they genuinely lived out those ideas each and every day. And this served as constant and consistent reminders for me that helped to make sure my flame was always sustained. And lastly, inspire. Because you know what? We can all inspire. Everything that we do and don't do can be instances of inspiration. It's upon us to think about how we consciously, carefully, and creatively design these experiences for them. Today, I represent the bright burning flame of many, many individuals who have created sparks of passion and curiosity and confidence and being resilient about life and visionary. Because of them, I am part of the 23%. Because of them, I was able to favorably impact my family, myself, my friends, and my community. So in closing, I wish to leave all of you with this. Please remember to always live in your vision and not in your current circumstance, because you have the ability to be the spark, and you also have the responsibility, not only to yourself, but to others. Trust me, they will thank you for it because their lives matter in terms of creating an even better world. Thank you.